Man accidentally discovered the hotel he lived in seemed to get smaller every day. To test his theory, he tied a rope between the window and the door and pulled it tight. But when he woke up the next day, the rope had become a little loose. The length of the rope hadn't changed. That meant the distance between the window and the door had shortened. Looks like the building really is shrinking. His guess was right. This kind of bizarre thing was the first time Jeff had ever seen. He didn't dare stay here anymore. He packed his luggage and was ready to leave. But after searching all the exits, he found the stairs had mysteriously disappeared. All the hallways had turned into solid walls. Jeff couldn't believe something this creepy was happening. He went around the whole building again, but still couldn't find an exit. What stood before him was still a wall. Could there be some kind of mechanism inside the building? He carefully checked every corner, and just then, he noticed the building's pipes were shaking. The walls started pulsing like a human heart. He couldn't hold back his curiosity, so he pressed his ear against it. But what he heard sounded like a drumbeat. As the shaking grew stronger, two small doors suddenly opened under the wall. Then a group of people came out playing horns and instruments. They were performing strange tunes and walking toward him. As a normal person, you obviously want to hide from something like this, and Jeff was no exception. He grabbed his suitcase and ran, but that band stuck to him like glue. They followed him all the way up to the second floor. Jeff happened to see an old woman smoking at the door, so he slipped into her room to escape. The two old women were longtime residents of the hotel. They felt sorry for what Jeff was going through, but they hadn't left that floor in over a decade. Aside from a small map of the corridor, they couldn't offer any useful help. Just as Jeff was about to leave in frustration, he overheard whispering behind him.
Stop. There's no such thing.
Jeff instantly realized they were definitely hiding something from him.
Please. Anything could help. You could try. Don't mind that she's talking gibberish.
Mike just laughed it off like a joke. After all, in this world, how could someone actually have psychic powers? But what happened next would completely shatter his understanding. Not far down the hall, the lights started flickering again. Just then a fat woman happened to walk by. Jeff ran up to ask what was going on, but a group of kids suddenly appeared and stole his suitcase. Jeff chased them into a room, but it was completely empty. Before he could figure out what was happening, that eerie music started again in the hallway. The walls began to shake, and the band returned right on cue. At the same time, a group of waiters holding trays walked one by one into a nearby room. Seeing the band getting closer, Mike had no choice but to grit his teeth and follow them in, but he ended up in a room full of people. It looked like a kitchen. They were preparing food for everyone in the building, but they didn't realize the hotel was shrinking. Jeff tried to warn them, but they thought he was crazy and kicked him out of the kitchen. If the building kept getting smaller, the walls would eventually collapse, and everyone could be buried under the debris. Helpless Jeff returned to his room. It seemed impossible to get help from anyone else. Not long after the building shrank again, the glass on the window cracked from pressure.